So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to start with Planner, and then we'll go ahead and transition over to PPM 360. So with Planner, we have the My Day area, as you can see here. And by default, this is going to show us any of the tasks that are due today. So as you can see here, I have this task due today, which we're currently actually working on right now. I can go ahead and change the progress on this to completed, or simply just mark it here. So that task has been completed. Now, from this grid view, we can see all our tasks. I can also move these columns around as well. And from the board view here, I can see group by progress, due date, plan, or priority. So if I go to plan, you can see those due date and priority as well. Now, if I navigate over to my tasks here, I'm going to see all the tasks that I have in my grid view here by task name, plan, progress, due date, priority, and quick click. And I can also move these columns around as well. Now, this is Microsoft's newest project management tool where they're investing all their time. So you're going to continuously see enhancements in here. So reference that roadmap website that I dropped in the chat for you to see kind of like what's coming. But for example, like, a couple months ago, we only had task name, plan, and progress and due date. Recently, they've also added the priority and quick look column. So this is an example of things that are going to be added. Now, as you can see here, with Planner within Teams, so there's Planner within Teams here, so you can add that by going to more apps, searching for Planner, clicking on the Planner app here, and then pinning it to the side if you'd like. Now, we also have traditional Planner, which you can, go here to all your apps, go here and go to the traditional Planner app. I typically recommend users use the Planner within Teams app, and the reason why is because they actually get the updates more first in the Teams Planner app before the traditional Planner app gets them. So I recommend using that, the Planner within Teams app. Now, if we go over to the plans area here, I can see all of my plans. As you can see here, some are basic, some are premium, and then I have some pinned plans here on the left. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of my premium plans that I already have built out. So here's the premium plan I have that I've already built out, as you can see here. Now, as far as GCC goes, one of the key things that you can see there on the chart that I dropped, we're going to have things GCC like premium plan templates, timeline, Gantt view. That's going to be our timeline view here. We're also going to have task dependencies, which would be here, these dependencies. We're also going to have the goals area, which is going to be here, our goals. Backlog and sprints, which if we go to our board view here, I can say group by, I say sprints. So you can see the backlog and sprints area here. Custom fields, which if we go to our grid view here, and I scroll all the way over to the right, I can say add column, new field, and that custom field can be a text, date, number, yes, no, or choice. And I'm also going to have comments and collaboration. So basically with the task here, if I open it up, I can add some comments here in the notes and collaborations such as our task conversations as well. Things I'm not going to have for GCC, unfortunately, are going to be things like task history. So you can see here the history of this task and what's been done to it. That's an example of something I'm not going to have for GCC. Copilot within Planner as well. So it's the Copilot. And portfolio view. So my portfolio is here. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that for GCC. Now, when I create a basic plan here, this is a basic plan, as you can see here. Technically, I have the ability to come in here and convert this to a premium plan. When I try to access one of these bigger ones here, it says, do you want to convert this? Unfortunately, for GCC, I can't. So if I create a basic plan, it's created as a basic plan. I have to create it as a premium for it to be a premium. I can't convert it for GCC. We also have tasks in the My Tasks view. my tasks here, which unfortunately we're not going to have for GCC either. And we're also not going to have plan backgrounds. Now, everything else we should essentially have. So we'll look at this. As you can see here, I have my summary tasks. This all rolls up. So I can see my entire project runs from 6/9 to 8/13, as you can see here. It's 48 days and I have 29% complete. I have some more summary tasks here like these that roll up as well. I have these that are assigned to, and when I assign it to someone, if you're more in GCC, you can see it in my tasks. Here I have a custom field, which is a text field, as you can see here. I also have things like baseline. So I can see here I've baselined my schedule. I have my baseline comparison here. I also have filters, so I can say, show me all the tasks that are assigned to only myself. And then I also have conditional coloring, which you can see here I have some applied. So for the conditional coloring, I have like assigned to equals Charlotte, show in pink. If percent complete is more than 0, show it in this color. Task name contains the word design, show it in yellow. Effort is less than equal to 8 hours, show it in green. Now, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to speak up. This is supposed to be like an interactive webinar. If you prefer to like have a private session where we can, explore more options for you guys, please feel free to reach out to Charlotte for that as well. Now, Allison, do you want to go ahead and speak up about what you put in the chat?
Sure. Yeah. And your graphic illustrates it, but I just wanted to call it out. So in Planner, you can create 2 types of plans. One is called a basic plan and one is called a premium plan. What we're looking at right now, Stella is showcasing a premium plan. It is the premium plan task assignments that unfortunately don't bubble up for like someone assigned tasks under my tasks. But if you create a basic plan, those will bubble up in that view. So, and things are always changing. So who knows, that could be improved tomorrow for all we know.
Thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. Yeah, Allison's pretty knowledgeable in our GCC area, so she recently did a webinar on that. So she's also a really good resource for any questions you might have like that. Now, this is Planner, which you get with Microsoft. Now we're going to pivot over to our PPM 360 solution here. So our PPM 360 solution is also a Power App. It's a model-driven app, and it's basically an area where it's basically like Planner for the tasks area, where you're going to have other areas such as like this nice dashboard view, and then an area for project requests. And if we dive into one of our plans here, we can see that we have all of these additional tabs. So we'll go through and discuss some of these. Now, our tasks tab, right, is essentially going to be a premium plan embedded into this tasks tab. So we just reviewed Planner. So as you can see here, this essentially looks the same, right? We have grid, board, timeline, everything we just talked about, you're going to be able to do that you can do in a premium plan, you can do in this tasks tab. So that's great. Now, something else we have the ability to do here is an area for you to submit project requests. And that's going to live in our intake app, as you can see here. So this is our gallery. You come in here and submit project requests. They go through an approval process, and using Power Automate upon approval, they actually are going to automatically create projects in this area. Now, of course, you don't have to have this piece of PPM 360. A lot of times you have a solution called PPM 360 Lite, which doesn't include this. So unless you need an area for project ideation, if you need an area for project ideation, this is a great piece to have. If you don't, then you would only need the PPM 360 Lite, which is just this, and it doesn't include the intake application. So as you can see here, we have a summary tab. This is an area for us to submit to update our project with just some basic information. We also have an area for business case, as you can see here. Now, keep in mind, everything we're seeing here is customizable, right? This is just like an out-of-the-box example. So basically, during the requirements phase of our implementation, we'd want to track what you're tracking for your projects. and make sure those fields exist here. You also get to learn during the implementation something called admin training, which is how to manage these yourself. So like how to add a new choice field or a new field, you'd also get to do as well. We also have an area for project charter. So these are some additional fields you can put in. Now we have an area for status where you can come in and submit status reports. And what's great about this is that our PPM 360 tool does come with 15 out of the box Power BI reports. So if we take a look at this, this is an example of a Power BI status report. So you come in here and you create your status report here, put in recent accomplishments, next steps, additional comments, and our KPI indicators. And then you're going to see those populate here, recent accomplishments, next steps, additional comments, and then our other areas of our project as well. Any questions so far? Okay. So coming back over here is an area we can submit status reports. We also have an area for financials. As you can see here, it's pretty basic. Once again, this would be customizable during the requirements phase of this implementation for this tool. We also have an area for tracking resources. As you can see here, all the people have assigned to tasks already in my project. As you can see here, I have several people assigned to tasks, right? So like Stella, Aaron, myself, Charlotte, we're all assigned to tasks. And if you look at resources here, you can see that I have book resource name, the role they're playing on my project, start and finish, total effort hours and remaining. And we have this nice, really correlating report here called resource assignments. And if I have my name selected for resource here, I can see all the projects that I'm on and the tasks that I'm specifically assigned to and the progress of those tasks. We also have an area for assignments here that we can add as well. We won't go too much into this. This is actually a custom feature we did for another customer, so this is just something that we'll look at. But basically, you can see here you can create any custom table within this tool. I also have task baselines, so using this, I can set up to 15 baselines for my project. We can see the most recent baseline set is baseline number 2, so if we get to baseline 2, I can see that. And my current baseline date was set on 8/14/2025. To create a new baseline, I'll simply trigger this to yes, and it will create my new baseline for me. We also have an area to track risks. So as you can see here, I have one risk created. We'll go ahead and dive into this risk. And we can see the area where I can track my risks here. If we take a look here, we can also see we have a risks dashboard. So this is going to show me all the risks in the tool unless I filter in. So right now I'm filtered into my name for project manager. So you can see here that for across all my projects, I have 41 open risks. So it's filtered to show just those. And then I have some visuals here at the top. Reports are also customizable during the requirements phase of the implementation. We also have an area for issues. So if I click it, I can create a new issue by selecting here. I have a board view. I also have a nice grid view here too. If I click into this issue to edit it, I can see there's a new issue created. Once again, this is customizable too. So if you needed a field such as like issue level, this could easily be created during the requirements phase. So there is time included to make sure that we have the fields for what you're needing to capture for your project information. And of course, we have our correlating issues dashboard as well. We also have an area for changes. If I were to create a new change here, I can come in here and create a new change. As you can see here, I have quite a bit of information to capture. And we actually do have approvals worked into this. So basically, I would create a change request information. Once I'm ready to send it for approval, I'll use this approval here, trigger it to requested. It would then send an email notification to whoever is in the assigned to field. They would receive an email notification with this change request information. And directly from the email or from their approvals area within Teams, they could select approve or reject. Once they select approve, this approval field is going to trigger to approved and be locked. And then we do have that correlating changes dashboard as well. Any questions so far? Okay. So coming back here, we have an area for decisions. Too. So this is where you can track any decisions that you make in your project. We also have an area for lessons learned. So typically during the closing phase of your project, you'll want to come in here and track any lessons learned. This is an area that would be good for your PMO to review, basically like, on a quarterly or annual basis. And basically there's the same lesson learned being documented across multiple projects. Gives your PMO the opportunity to think maybe we should change our process if the same lesson learned is being tracked by multiple project managers across multiple projects. And this is typically a closing phase item for a project. And of course, you have an area for attachments as well. So I can come in here and I can upload a new attachment. Or I can either upload an attachment, where actually once it's uploaded, I can actually edit it within here. Or I can create a new one. So let's say I wanted to create like a new word, right? And I'll say this is still in this document. I can save it. And then in a new window, it's actually going to create that for me. So I can come in here and edit it. So I can say, new document for Stella. And I can see here it's been saved. Close out of this, I can see this here. So I can simply go in and edit it, and I can see I can do that Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or OneNote. Now up at the top, we have our project process. This is going to be your phase, or basically your gates, which you're going to use throughout your project process. This is what a PM will use, like when they're ready to go from initiation to planning phase. They'll have like a series of questions, which once again you would determine during the requirements phase. You can make some required, some not. They then have to answer yes to the question in order to be able to move to the next gate. As you can see, there's an approval here. So once they want to move to the next gate, it's going to go to an approver, which you would also indicate during the requirements phase. That approver would receive an email saying this project manager is ready to move their project, the project name, to the next gate. Please review. And then once they say approved, then it will move to the next gate. Now, with our recent projects I've implemented, I'm actually finding that most customers don't want an approval at every gate. They typically just want them at the very end. So like between basically monitor, control, and close, they want one from the PMO to go in, review the project before it goes into the closure phase, just to make sure everything's been done correctly. But with our out-of-the-box solution, you actually can get one at every gate if you want, or you can get one just at 2 gates. It's up to you. That's determined during the requirements phase as well. And this is also using Power Automate to send those approvals as well. Now we briefly looked at portfolios here. We mentioned portfolios is actually not available for GCC and Planner, but with our PPI 360 solution, you do get a really nice portfolio. So let's go back to our plan briefly real quick. We can see here that I can assign my project to a specific program and a specific portfolio, as you can see here. Now, if I go over my portfolios area here, I can see that if I go into a specific portfolio, like sales portfolio, let's actually look at one that has more of a budget. This one here, I can see my dashboard view, right? My portfolio name, portfolio manager, all this information. And I can go into the portfolio here. Once again, this is editable as well. I have portfolio financials. and my projects. I can see all my projects listed. Now, what we can apply in portfolio, which we have in programs, so I'm going to quickly show you. So you can see this dashboard view. I have active projects, projects on track, at risk, and trouble. If I click into this, you can see this nice timeline view, which is very useful. So I can see the current overall health of the project. So this was not set, applicable, as you can see here. So let's go into a different program, actually. Oops, hold on. Yeah, let's go into this one. I can see I have 2 projects here. And once again, I also have an area for status too. Now I also have a whole area for resource management, which if you want to take a closer look at that, we can schedule some time in a separate session to go through that with your team as well, if that's something you're interested in. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at these other reports. So I mentioned this intake application, right? It's actually, the data set for this is SharePoint. So what's really nice about that is your users don't need a license. They just need a Microsoft 365 license and the correct permission to come here and submit requests. They don't need a Plan 3 or Plan 1 license, which is what you need to be in this. So that's this report here, our request dashboard report. Once again, this report, all the reports we're going to look at here, all 15 reports are editable during that implementation phase. We have portfolio health as well. So I can see all my portfolios. So I can see right now my real estate investment portfolio. I can see all the projects. It's usually good for the PMO because if I see this is red, right, I can actually drill into the status report for the most recent status report for this project to figure out what's going on, or I can click the link and open the project directly in PPM 360. So this is a nice report that's created, which is once again editable as well. And my portfolio dashboard report. The active stage is going to be that business process flow we looked at the top of the project. That was those gates or phases that we talked about. We have the portfolio timeline. You can see here. We also have our portfolio milestones, and by definition, a milestone is any project with 0-day duration, 0 hours. So that's what's going to show here for these tasks. So we can see our recent milestones and our upcoming milestones. You can see here, these are all late. I also have a program health report. The status report we've already looked at, as well as the risks dashboard report, the issues dashboard, changes dashboard. Resource dashboard is just a high level overview, as you can see here. And we look at the resource assignments report. Now we also have the resource availability report, which is actually going to show engagements. So if you don't want to track your resource allocation by task specifically, we have another report where you can engage users in specific projects. So if I go down here and I click on my name, I can see all the projects that I'm engaged in here for the year. Now this heat map is great because it shows you users that are over allocated. And then if I have like a role filter, for example, I can shift some work over to someone who has the availability to do more work. I also have my task overview project too, where I can also utilize that resource filter to either do, a role or a specific name to see task assignments. And I have my project timeline report, which is not going to show me just task, but project and task, project name and task, as you can see here. I can actually collapse all to see a nice little timeline of just the project. If I want more detailed information, I can expand to see the tasks. Now I've saved some time at the end of today's webinar for questions. Allison, is there anything I missed you want to add before we get into questions?
Not that I can think of outside that slide.
Okay. Yeah, that slide's going to be pretty important as a reference, as well as the link that I dropped in the chat. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to see more of today? Okay, then I guess I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Erin. Or Charlotte.
Thanks, Stella. I'll be sending this recording out to everyone after this, and then we'll also have a survey that I think Erin will drop in the chat if you guys have some time to fill that out. And feel free to reach out to me, Stella, or Allison if you have any questions specific to what you guys are doing at your organization or anything after you review that slide that we dropped in the chat. We're happy to have a follow-up conversation. But if there's no more questions, thanks everyone for your time. We'll give you back about some more time into your day.